I'm going to read you this Facebook post that keeps appearing in my feed because it's been really annoying me, and I wanted to see if the reason it annoys me resonates with anybody else. So when Noah was born, doctors told his young father, Ben, who had Down syndrome, that he wouldn't be able to raise a child, that he wouldn't understand feeding schedules, that he wouldn't know how to comfort a crying baby, that he wouldn't be enough. But Ben didn't listen. He held his newborn close, kissed his forehead, and whispered, "I may not know everything, but I know how to love you." And love him he did. Ben fed him with shaking hands, learned lullabies by humming, and rocked him every night until the sun rose. He worked part-time folding napkins at a local diner, saving every penny for Noah's future. There were stares, whispers. Other parents asked, "Is he the father?" Ben would just smile and nod proudly. "He's my son, my best friend." Noah grew, Ben aged. Years passed like pages in a quiet book. Noah became a man. Strong, kind, successful. People would say, "You turned out so well." He'd reply, "Because I was raised by someone who only saw the world with love." As Ben got older, his memory began to fade. He'd forget where he put things, then names, then Noah's. And one day he looked into Noah's eyes and asked, "Are you my friend?" Noah held his hand and whispered, "I'm your boy, the one you raised, the one who gave you, the one you gave everything to." Now Noah feeds him, helps him walk, hums lullabies when Ben can't sleep. He's not just caring for his father, he's repaying the man who raised him twice. When they take pictures now, Noah smiles wide because the world sees an old man with Down syndrome and his the world sees an old man with Down syndrome and his adult son. But he sees his hero, his teacher, his heart. And there are some clearly AI photos with a black and white filter applied. And this is a post by somebody called Chris and Jasmine, and as you see at the top, AI creators. So the top AI video creator, there's some problems here with excessive use of caps lock, but we won't go into that. But clearly this is AI generated, and I'm not against AI generated content, but this is inherently problematic for a couple of reasons. I want to stress that this isn't a takedown post. This is me voicing genuine concerns about something I've seen. And it's a classic case of what disability advocate Stella Young called inspiration porn. So if it doesn't give you the ick to read this story, I mean, it's supposed to get you in the feels, but it kind of gives me the ick because it's a trickly feel-good story that's exploiting disability. Again, using AI isn't inherently a problem, but it's more so that we as disabled people and our very legitimate struggles are being fed into this AI sausage-making machine aimed at manipulating people's feelings and using algorithms to make some social media influencer a profit. And this is the nature of inspiration porn. It's designed to make abled people feel, good about whatever minimum, concession they throw us as disabled people. And I don't really have the bandwidth to sit down and write out a proper critique. So I've done my due diligence the same way they did their due diligence, this Chris and Jasmine, whoever they are. And I fed this entire post into AI to analyze why it's problematic. And here's what I got. First of all, it centers the reader's feelings, not the disabled person's humanity. It's designed to inspire able people and not accurately respectfully represent Ben's lived experience. It's playing to this emotional appeal of, look at what this disabled person can do. How amazing, right? It doesn't see him as a full, complex human being with dignity, autonomy, and capability. And then it uses his disability as a narrative obstacle to overcome. So it's suggesting, and it's not to say that there aren't inherent barriers or challenges with having Down syndrome, but it's saying that's inherently incompatible with being a parent, and he's the exceptional case, right? And it reinforces the stereotype that people with intellectual disabilities can't care for others or have families. So instead of questioning why society doubted him, it kind of romanticizes this struggle, and then it evokes pity and awe rather than equality. So like he fed him with shaking hands, and he learned lullabies by humming, and it dramatizes this experience in a way that makes Ben seem helpless, and it evokes pity, not respect. And it's treating a daily act of parenting as heroic just because a disabled person is doing it. And then it frames care as a debt to be repaid. So later when the son cares for Ben, it paints him as a beautiful act of repayment, like his father has only proven himself worthy of that emotional return on investment because of his act. So it reinforces this perception that disabled people must be exceptional or loving enough to earn their place or care. Pretty harmful, right? And then it glosses over structural realities. This story ignores the systemic barriers and the support needs that disabled parents face. And it doesn't challenge those systems. Instead, it just tells this heartwarming tale that keeps non-disabled people comfortable without asking them to confront ableism. And a more respectful post probably wouldn't have used AI to generate a story about somebody who's disabled for the purposes of profit, because that's really what this boils down to. It would show Ben as a whole person with agency, not just sentimentality. It would acknowledge the role of community, accessibility, and structural support, or the absence of those things. Celebrate his parenting without implying it's miraculous for a person with Down syndrome to accomplish this. Challenging the low expectations society holds for disabled people in general, and pushing back on why those assumptions exist and on a structural level, and what needs to change in society to enable disabled folks to be more successful. So what are your thoughts about this post? What feelings does it evoke for you? What's your reactions? I'd love to hear from you.